Welcome back to the OG of the HRC Way, news they ain't telling ya. Today we have a very special episode. The one and only Miss Annie Potts is going to be joining us for a great interview where she's open and honest, and we talk about designing women and Toy Story and Any Day Now and young Sheldon. All of it is covered right after the quick news. I promise you don't want to miss this one. Okay, let's go into quick news. Of course, we have impeachment, impeachment, impeachment. The only things that I'm going to take away from impeachment is that the House managers released a ton of new footage from January 6th that we have not seen yet, and now we've seen. One of the footage showed that Senator Romney was literally saved by Officer Eugene Goodman. Of course, we all know Officer Eugene Goodman was the officer who distracted the rioters to go a different direction and saved who knows how many people, but there's literally a video of Senator Romney walking and he's running and he goes turn around and go, and he probably saved him from God knows what. Also, video has surfaced that they showed where they are shouting, where's Pelosi? They're shouting all these horrific things, which I'm not going to reinstate. That's basically hunting for Nancy Pelosi. So that was pretty distraught. Lindsey Graham tweeted yesterday after the second round of impeachment trial that the not guilty numbers are growing. So that's what we've been trying to say this whole time. 67 is a very difficult number to get to. I don't know, and I don't think that we're going to get there, but who knows? A lot of the senators, while they're in this trial, are looking at their phones. They're reading something. They're distracted. Senator Hawley literally had his feet up on his desk, not paying attention. So I don't think that they're taking this very seriously. I just want to let everyone know, though, that Senator Graham thinks that this is outrageous, this impeachment, but he didn't think it was outrageous to vote guilty for a blowjob of President Clinton. So there's that on impeachment. That's all I'm going to say about impeachment because pretty much everything's out of our control at this point. So the CDC has announced that double masking is best. So I'm guessing what they're asking us to do is put one of those like cheap masks and then one of those pretty masks over it. And that is supposed to stop it. I don't really know. I feel like we get new information every single day, but just mask up, everyone. That's all I'm going to say. This is interesting. Charisma Carpenter, who's best known from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the show Angel, which of course was created by Joss Whedon. She's accusing him of abuse of power. She says that it was an extremely toxic work environment. Sarah Michelle Gellar came out and sort of distanced herself from Joss Whedon and said, I don't want to be associated with him. I love that I'm associated with Buffy forever because she is Buffy. And I support everyone who is able to tell their truth. So this should be interesting because Joss Whedon is a pretty big name in Hollywood. So usually when there's one woman who's brave enough to come out, more come out. Now, she said it was a toxic work environment. She didn't say it was sexually involved, that sort of thing, but still toxic is toxic, right? Larry Flint of Hustler has died at 78. And the reason I'm saying this is, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but I thought he was dead already. So when that came out, I was like, what? I had no idea he was still alive. The king of the porn industry, right? So the only reason I'm saying that is because I genuinely was like, what? Okay. Robert Kennedy Jr., who is a massive, massive, massive anti-vaxxer guy, and he has been even pre-COVID. He has officially been banned from Instagram because of that. He's still on Twitter. He's still on Facebook. And what's interesting about that is Facebook owns Instagram, so I don't know how he's allowed on Facebook, but not Instagram. But he is a huge anti-vaxxer. He spreads anti-vaxxer misinformation constantly. I think if his father was alive today, he would be like, what the heck? So, of course, he's obviously the child of Robert Kennedy and Ethel Kennedy, who is an amazing, amazing woman. Another thing is that the Michigan Senate leader who was caught on a hot mic denying all of January 6th, saying it was a hoax. He apologized at one point, but then he was caught on a hot mic saying, I don't really believe anything I just said. I still believe it was a hoax. So that's cool. Again, Michigan is the state where they had a bunch of people who were planning to kill Gretchen Whitmer, their governor. But that's cool. Bernie Sanders, Senator Sanders, goes in on OMB nominee Nara Tanden about her Twitter account. Now, let me just clear the air on this because I think it's very important. I pray that Nara passes because if she doesn't get confirmed, I'm going to be very upset. Because 2 days straight, they talked to her about her Twitter account where she deleted a lot of tweets because as a private citizen, she went after the extreme left, aka Bernie Sanders, and the right. She is a big Hillary Clinton supporter. She is an extremely bright, intelligent woman who is qualified to be the OMB director. But the extreme left, Bernie Sanders and Lindsey Graham, teamed up yesterday and the other day and tag teamed her about this Twitter account, even though the day before they had already even talked about the Twitter account. Now, Bernie Sanders made this all about himself, as he always does, and he simply said, well, you attacked me. You attacked me. Well, here's the thing. She was a private citizen, and she has apologized. She has said, I was angry. That's why I deleted these tweets. I shouldn't have done it. I take ownership, unlike a certain someone else who has never taken ownership for his tweets. So there's a difference when you take ownership and you try to change and do better, which is what Nira was trying to do. This is an impressive woman who came from nothing. She's the daughter of immigrants. Her mother was sitting behind her at the confirmation. She is highly intelligent, like I said. She knows what she's talking about. She is perfect for this job. And yet she might get stopped because of her Twitter account. If that is not hypocrisy, I don't know what is. And I guarantee you that Bernie Sanders could care less what she would have tweeted if she wouldn't have gone after him. But she went after him over and over and over again, which is why I love her. And she doubled down and said, sorry, okay? So that being said, President Biden has access to all calls between Trump and Putin. What is really interesting is that Trump tried to hide these calls with a locked special number, which why would he try to lock calls with Vladimir Putin but no one else? That's interesting. So we shall see what happens with that. Speaker Pelosi will award the Capitol police officers the Congressional Gold Medal, which is the highest honor that Congress can bestow. These men and women deserve every second of that. Senator Pelosi also announced that the House COVID bill has enough votes to push forward the $15 federal minimum wage, which means that will go on to the Senate. I don't know if it'll survive in the Senate, but it's a big sign in the plus side that it's going to pass through the House. And that is today's news, quick news. I also want to say, Justin Timberlake, you're a D-bag, and I hope that you see this, and you know why. And you guys, you don't want to miss Annie Potts. I mean, come on, who doesn't love Annie Potts? And let me tell you, she was an amazing woman, kind, pleasant, open, answered every single question I could possibly have. So definitely, and if you are a fan of Designing Women, she's got some things to say about possible reboots. So check it out, guys. So welcome to the OG of the HRC way, news they ain't telling you. So I am the OG of the HRC. That's what I go by. So we have the one and only Annie Potts today, and this is very exciting for me. You are my first interview of someone I don't personally know. So,
oh, wow.
So yeah, it's very interesting. I've worked in all over the place for a while, and so yeah, you're my first non-knowing person. So welcome.
Well, I'll try to make it easy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. So of course, Annie Potts, we all know you from so many different things. We have Designing Women, we have Toy Story, now Young Sheldon, of course. So you are filming Young Sheldon right now, correct? You guys are back and going. How is that being back via COVID? This is the new normal.
Well, it does actually feel normal now, but when we are so, we're sort of exhaustively tested. You know, I test 5 days a week, and on the days that whether I'm shooting or not, I test. And on the days that I work, I take 2 tests, a PCR and a rapid test.
Wow.
So all of that, so we can take our mask off and be with each other for like 10 minutes and then everybody mask on.
Right.
But it is just the normal now. And we haven't had any sicknesses that have been generated within the cast.
Oh, great. That's amazing. How long how long have you been back officially?
Since last September.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah,
you guys have slow and steady. Okay, great. Well, I love you on Young Sheldon. Obviously,
thank
Mima,
you.
such a fun character. I must
She's so
say,
fun.
one of my favorite episodes was when you convinced Sheldon with the cookies and he's a Texan and that whole, it's just so fabulous and so fun and just the definition of who Mima is, I think, just, proud
Well,
Texas woman.
she's a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of women. Hang on, my dog is having some fun there. Settle down, sugar. Um, uh, because I knew these women and always got such a kick out of them. There were a lot of them in my family.
Right. Because you're from
Funny.
Kentucky, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Born and raised Kentucky girl. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever go back to Kentucky? Do you still have a lot of family there?
I have a sister back there, but um, not so much anymore. My parents are gone now, and so usually my sister comes out here because she has a daughter here. So, but I
Gotcha.
miss it. I miss it. I When I do go back, I feel like I know every tree and every woods.
Yeah, home. I get it. I completely understand. So let's go to, of course, Designing Women. I grew up on that show and it was so monumental in my childhood of showing me these strong women on television from all different angles. And I mean, when you were making Designing Women, did any of you ladies realize what you were creating in terms of the 1980s is such a pivotal moment for the women's movement, and that
Mhm.
the 1970s end and all of these Supreme Court cases had come in where women are gaining rights. And the 1980s came in and women were working in corporate world, women were doing things on their own. So Designing Women is such a fabulous, written by a woman, created by a woman, leading women. I mean, did you ladies realize how important what you were doing with Designing Women?
I wonder whether, when you're inside something, you ever fully appreciate how historical it might be or whatever. I wish I had. I wish I had that gift for doing that. I mean, it seemed. We were all, as actresses, ambitious working women. So
Mhm.
that was a standard that was already happening. It's like, but that we would, have a standard to carry and help other women. I know I run into women, about your age quite often, and some men who say, I watched that with my mother, my grandmother, and it changed my life because of the way you guys were and the issues that you took up and everything. So uh, I'm sorry that there's not a show quite like that around these days, because I think that we could really use one.
I agree completely. I have an 11, 12, almost 12-year-old niece. And I think like that's when I was like watching so many reruns of Designing Women and Golden Girls and Murphy Brown. And those shaped so much of who I am today. So I agree that that is definitely missing. And I think another show that you had done, Any Day Now, I was a huge fan of that show. And I think that if that show was on today, it would be such a massive hit
I
because
I know. I
I
know.
mean,
When Black Lives Matter started coming into view last year, they were like, well, we just nobody's having these conversations.
mhm.
Nobody wants to acknowledge. It's like, no, we did this 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We had these conversations, and
Mhm.
they were intense. I
Mhm.
know that the writers on that show used to tell me that they used to practically come to blows in the writing room, knocking these ideas out, black and white, and it was really something. I have to say that when I was in the middle of that show, I really did know how important it
Mm.
was and how extraordinary it was.
Yeah.
Um, I just, being a Southerner, I so appreciated being task with putting those ideas forward, because I really do think that, um, I mean, it's nationwide, but I think the South is was especially responsible for, um, making old, of being inflexible, of not
Right.
moving forward, of
Right.
not wanting to let go of, and we see it still. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so
Yeah.
yes, I actually, Any Day Now is on again, and I think it's on something called Start TV.
Oh,
And I've had several people who have been, who noticed that and took it up and going, I'm watching this show and it's so current. It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, I learned so much from that show. And I just, like you said, to show from the perspective of the South, Alabama, and these two women and the backstory with your character's father and all of that was just done so brilliantly. And I just think I'm glad that it's on somewhere now because I think it's so important and people can learn so much from that. So
Yeah.
I just think that yeah, it's important. That's for sure.
It,
So
it yeah. It
yeah.
was it was used for some years, I know, in a lot of different colleges for both race study and women
Mm.
studies as well. So
Wow. That's big.
that
That's
I thought so too. When
to be a part
I
of
heard
something
that, I
like
was like,
wow.
really? Wow. Okay.
Wow, that's like really big. That's amazing. So then obviously that show, but a lot of people know your voice for Toy Story, of course. I myself grew up with that movie. So, I mean, I'm just curious that. So, for me personally, when Toy Story 3 happened, I was like, where's Bo Peep? Like, what's going on? And I thought that was it. And then Toy Story 4 came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's okay that she wasn't in Toy Story 3 because who she is now is so brilliant, especially for the times. When you got the first script or when you realized like she was this feminist, woke, independent woman, what was your first thought? I mean,
Well, that unfolded very, I mean, I worked on that for 4.5 years. I never saw a script.
oh
There
wow.
was So it was like, they would just call and say, we'd like to do a little more on we and so I would go in every couple of months and work a day or two, and I really didn't have any idea how big a role it was
Wow.
until I saw the film. It was like,
Like,
oh wow. I
wow.
mean, yeah.
That's amazing. What do you personally think of Bo Peep's transformation?
Oh, I was thrilled. I was thrilled to see her. I mean, it's wonderful uh, to get to be the model for young girls who, when your
Mhm.
arm falls off, you just put some scotch tape on it and go on. I sort of,
Exactly.
yes,
Everything
because,
about that was just brilliant. I was just in awe. I mean, I just was like, I couldn't have asked all of us as Toy Story fans, we couldn't have asked for anything better, especially the timing of when that movie was released, when Hillary had lost, young girls felt like, what's going on? And to see Bo Peep, I mean, I'm 35 and I was inspired. So, I mean, I can only
oh,
imagine the younger
good,
girls,
good.
that's
Yes.
absolutely amazing. How often do you get recognized for your voice because of that character?
Uh, Quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty safe going anywhere, doing anything,
Mm.
as long as I don't open my mouth, and then people just go,
Right.
"What?"
Right. I love that. Definitely. I think even pre Toy Story, you would have been recognized for your voice. You have very distinct.
Yes, I have a distinctive voice.
Yeah. And it's fabulous. I think it's fabulous. That's for sure. Even in Ghostbusters, it's very distinct. So
Totally different though for that
totally
one.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Um,
Completely. So let's talk about. I had read somewhere that, or I think I saw on your Instagram, that you have been making masks for COVID and
Mhm.
been raising money for White Pony Express, which is a charity in the Bay Area. I'm originally from the Bay Area, so I know about White Pony Express. Tell me
Good.
how that came about.
Well, I have long been a supporter and a kind of a mouthpiece for them and food rescue. My closest friend was the executive director on that, so she said, "Hey, listen, could you do something for us?" And I love the idea, always the idea that not wasting food, and especially with so many in need. And
Mhm.
then when COVID happened and things were so hard, and they were, I mean, the demand for food became so great. I mean,
Mhm.
they had to have more capacity than they ever had, so they needed funds, So I, as soon as the pandemic happened and everybody said, well, we're going to have to wear masks. You can find a mask, but I thought, well, I learned to sew in the costume shop when I was getting my degree in theater. So I just first thing I did was I got on Amazon and I ordered a sewing machine. And literally in the beginning, because I was like, oh, I had to get them out to my family and my friends and everything. I was making them out of tea towels, any fabric. I was cutting up sheets, anything to do, and then and then I started getting nice materials and everything. And I came up with the idea. It was like, well, auction these off, so they, uh I think people love to get a little something if they're going to put something in a lot of the
Mhm.
time. So the mask sold for quite a bit, and I ended up offering that up to other people that I've long supported. So it was a really fun project for me. It kept me focused and it kept me positive, and in a real way, I felt like I was doing something to help protect people. What else? What else can you do?
Right.
It's like
Right.
I can't make it go away, but
Right.
I can help you shield yourself from it.
Mhm.
So it was a wonderful project for me. And a girlfriend of mine had knew Barbara Boxer's daughter or something, and
Mhm.
I said, "Oh, I'd love to get these to some of our politicians." So
Yeah, you did.
I I did. I did.
Not
I
just
sent
some
a
politicians. I mean, we've got the Speaker of the House rocking Annie Potts mask, you
I
know?
I can't even tell you how happy that made me. I just, and I didn't even find it because I sent these to Kamala and Miss Pelosi and Maxine Waters and a bunch of people last
Yeah.
spring. And then I don't know, maybe a month ago, a girlfriend of mine had found a picture of Nancy in the news. And I think it was when she was announcing that the articles
Yeah,
of
it was. It's
impeachment.
yeah, it was.
And she said, "Isn't this your mask?" And I was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God."
Yeah.
I did a dance, I'll tell you.
She wears it a lot. She wears them a lot because I mean, her mask
Yes,
always match her outfit. So I mean, yeah.
yes, she's been really good about that. I mean, part of the thing that I, you know, people were reluctant, not any of those particular politicians, but a lot of people, have been reluctant to wear them. And I thought, well, if they're beautiful,
Mm,
or then people be more likely to wear them, and you can match them up, and it's just, it's the new uh item to go with your outfit, like
yeah,
a purse
yeah, it's
or
a new
nail polish.
accessory. Yeah.
Yes.
I know. I have a
um
ton of them. Has to match my outfit. That's for sure.
i I do too.
Yeah. That's amazing though. I mean, when I saw that picture, I was like, this is legit. Like you've got the third most powerful person in our government, rocking the Annie Potts mask. I mean, you can't get much better than that. I mean,
No, that just about did it for me.
That did it. That's the reach the point. So I just want to quick ask you about, is there one character that you've played in your career that you wish you could have played just a little bit longer?
Hmm. Um, well, the Any Day Now, I love that. I mean, we did 4 years of
Mhm.
that. I felt like we had so many stories to tell, and I thought that character was wonderful. And yeah, I think, we need that now. I'd
Mhm.
love to, I'd love to see a movie done. Lorraine Toussaint and I are still close, and we are so proud of that.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't mind doing that one. Um, and I wouldn't mind revisiting Designing Women either. Uh,
Yeah. Would you be open to that? Like if they were, because everyone's doing the reboot.
Absolutely.
You would?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. That's really
Yeah. I
exciting.
mean, it would be, and I know that a lot of Dixie Carter's rants that she did have been passing around on the internet, and they are, I mean, there's one to fit almost every
Almost anything.
situation. Yes.
I know we post
Um,
them on our Instagram and our Twitter all the time because when Georgia, the last election, we did the infamous "That's the
yes.
night that the lights went out" in
Yeah,
Georgia.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
how great was that to be on set to watch her just shine like that? I mean, that must have
Well,
been.
she was a marvel, and it was interesting because she herself is very conservative,
I know I
and
read that. Yeah.
to play the most liberal of all of us, she was like, I just don't know about this speech, Annie. I just don't know. I said, give it to me, I'll do it.
Right.
But I
That's
know she
amazing.
suffered over that occasionally, not always. I mean, she
Right.
was well aware of how excellent the acting material was, but
Hmm.
she often didn't agree politically. But
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I actually, this is a funny story. When I was like 10 years old, I wrote her a letter and she wrote me back and she signed like, and I have it at my parents' house. And it was like, it made my life because I was like, I
wow.
love your character. You're so inspiring. I was like 10, but yeah, she sent me back a letter and it just made everything because of those speeches. When you're a kid and you see that, it's like, wow, this woman is beautiful and she's so sure of herself. I mean, all of you ladies were on that show. I mean, that's the brilliance of that show. I mean, do you think the other ladies would be down for a reboot or?
I think it just depends.
Yeah,
Delta doesn't work much anymore.
yeah,
She
I know.
prefers not to. And Jean, of course, works all the
All the
time.
time.
So yeah, she's such a wonderful actress.
Yeah,
So it would be about timing and
right,
and all of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if she wouldn't be willing to dip her toe back in
right. Well, all the gays and all the girls would be over the moon if that happened.
that.
You go to West Hollywood and you get yourself a Designing Women shirt, and it's like you fit right in with that group. So that's for sure.
Yeah,
That would be fabulous. So if we can send that out to the universe, that would be great.
I
Um,
I'm I'm I would be happy to send that out to the universe.
I love hearing that so much. So I have one last question for you, if I may. I ask every one of my guests this. Who inspired you when you were 10 years old, and who inspires you today?
Who inspired me when I was 10? Um, there used to be, we used to get off the school bus right in time for the 4 o'clock movie. Uh, that's in the days when there were only three channels,
Right.
and one of them ran an old black and white movie at 4 o'clock. So all the great movies with all the great screen actresses,
Hmm.
Katharine Hepburn and Carol Lombard and Rosalind Russell. There was a whole pack of cards of wonderful actresses who I I sparked to then and still do.
Yeah.
And so just, the great black and white screen sirens, I would say, especially the comedic ones were my heroes. And who does it for me now?
Really quick, are you a Barbara Stanwyck fan then?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, Ball of Fire, come on.
I know.
Come on, I love her.
She's so great.
But today, well, I mean, artistically, there's kind of nobody like Meryl Streep still. I mean, I just watched her in The Prom. It's like, I mean, is there nothing she can't do? I
That's what
mean,
makes her the
really,
greatest. I know.
really.
It's like you believe her in that and you believe her in doubt. Like, I mean, you just Margaret
Yes,
Thatcher, there's
yes.
nothing she can't do. I know. I agree.
But really, my I mean, my social heroes now, people, I mean, I think that Nancy Pelosi is sensational. I mean, she's 80 years old
I
and
know.
she is like,
I know.
she's unbelievable. I mean, what
Nonstop.
a non-stop,
Yeah.
brilliant on it.
Yep.
She misses nothing.
Nothing. I always say about her, she's
Nothing.
playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers. She's
That's
just
right.
always, I mean, I
Right.
named my cat after her. So she's very
Wow.
like, yeah. And her daughter is a fan of the OG of the HRC way. So getting that direct DM was like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. So yeah, Pelosi's a whole other level of, greatness. And growing up in the Bay Area, I knew about her before she was Pelosi, the speaker, and it was her, Feinstein, Boxer. I feel very fortunate that I grew up across the Bay Bridge and they're right there in San Francisco. So when everyone else, I was like, oh,
Where did you grow up?
I grew up right outside of Oakland. So Newark, Fremont, Oakland, that area. Yeah, I'm a 510 girl. So
oh, yes, you are. No,
very much.
I see now how you knew about the White Pony. We're hoping that that more people find out about it and actually replicate the program. So because I mean that's what it's meant to do. I mean it's just a little local thing that started that we hoped other people would go, oh, we should do that too. So.
Yeah, it's a great program. Absolutely, I agree. I think with food shortages, which was a problem, like you said, pre-COVID, but now it's unbelievable. I mean, to see food lines of people who have jobs and they can't get food. I mean, I don't comprehend. I mean, it's hard to comprehend for me personally.
Like if we can put men in space, can't we feed our children? I mean,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I agree. And thank you so much for doing
this. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And anytime you want to promote anything, come on over. We are here.
Thank you. And thank you for the service that you're doing. It's wonderful for all women, young and in the middle and my age.
Thank you very much. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Bye.
All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed that Annie Potts interview as much as I enjoyed interviewing her. Hopefully we will see her again. Make sure and check her out on Young Sheldon and follow her on Instagram because her Instagram is very positive. That being said, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And of course, if you want to listen to us, you can listen on Spotify, iTunes, and of course you can watch on YouTube. Don't miss out. Until next time, guys, the OG of the HRC signing out.